Sobriety can just be tough for anybody to get their head around, especially when you're really in the thick of it. And sometimes it's hard for people to get their head around even becoming sober. Sometimes the idea of becoming sober scares you. I mean, what are you going to do if you never drink again? The same question I asked myself. In this episode, I'm joined by Dobbie, who's a sober coach, and we dive deep into sobriety and what it means and how it's changed our lives. So get comfortable, put your feet up. This is TOMU, the Open Mic Unfiltered. Let's get fucking into it. Thanks for joining me, Jason.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. Thought basically would start with you introducing yourself.
Yeah, for sure, brother. My name is Jason Dobbie. I am 43 years old. I live in Ontario, Canada, near Niagara Falls. I'll give you a brief bio about myself. I was a professional chef for about 26 years, working my ass off in the kitchen. I first got sober for the first time about 15 years ago, and I relapsed a bunch of times. I've been sober now for 7 years straight, just last September, which is amazing. Just about 2 years ago, I had a massive sort of like spiritual awakening, you would call it, where I realized that I wasn't happy with my life. Working in a kitchen, slaving away, working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, never seeing my kids. And then one day I realized I can do anything I want with my life. And rather than just slugging away doing this job I hate forever, which is kind of, the plan. We're told you just got to go to work and work till you retire. And as long as you make enough money, you should be happy, right? Well, I got all the things, but I wasn't happy. I still felt empty inside. So a couple of years ago, I decided to make a change, and I went on this huge kind of spiritual journey and started working with coaches and doing all this stuff. And then through that, I discovered my love for, service to others and helping others. And that's why I started my coaching business 2 years ago called Transformative Pathways Life Coaching. And I changed careers. So now my day job is I sell seafood. So I'm still kind of in the restaurant industry. I got my toe in it a little bit, but I work Monday to Friday. I have weekends off. I work from home. I get to see my kids all the time, and it's great. I took a huge pay cut, but I've never been happier. So it just goes to show that money doesn't always buy happiness. And then the last year or so, I've really been pushing hard and working with business coaches and stuff, trying to figure out what I want to do. And I just decided this year that I was going to change my niche. So I started off building a 12-week program called The Journey Within. And my goal was to, work with everybody, but I had to target in on a certain audience. So I decided to change directions and call myself a sober life coach. So I focus on helping people after they've got sober to do the sort of inner work and connect with themselves, because getting sober is great, but it's just the beginning. And I've been on this path for 15 years now. And I'm finally at the point now where I'm actually thriving now, but it's taken me a long time and a lot of work to get here.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's you've earned your stripes, as they say, for your on your belt, to be able to speak from a place of experience. They say 15 years, and including the relapses. And I believe at the moment I haven't had a relapse, but I've been told that relapse is sometimes part of the journey. You probably go so long without a drink or without the substance that you've moved away from, and then you think I can maybe have a joint, or I can have a drink, or I can have one line and I'll be fine. And then before you know it, you're back on the path that you've tried so hard to avoid,
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's exactly what happened to me. I thought maybe I can just have one drink and drink like a normal person. Like, I was sober for a couple of years. And I remember one time it was my wife's birthday, and I thought, I can just have a glass of wine for her birthday, because I really love sparkling wine. And I remember that too, when I first quit drinking. I was like so sad, because like, man, I love wine and food and all this stuff, and I'm never going to be able to do this again. I'm never going to be able to have a nice dinner with wine again and pour me and all this stuff. But anyways, so I had a glass of wine with my wife one night, and then that just led into, the next day I'm drinking liquor out of the liquor cabinet and getting drunk by myself and hiding it. And then that turns into, I started this job. I was a head chef at a private golf course, and I just started the job, and I was at a Christmas dinner at the president's house, and I got so fucking shit-faced. And this was probably 20 days after I had that one glass of wine with my wife, and my daughter was just born, and my daughter was there at the party. My wife was there at the party, and I just made an absolute fool out of myself. But everyone there, all the guys at the club, all the presidents and stuff, they were all alcoholics. So I fit right in with them. But I woke up the next morning, and I woke up in my clothes and I didn't remember anything. And I had to go to work that day. And I was just like, man, what am I doing? But it was a huge wake up call. And that happened to me quite a few times. And another time I relapsed was a few years later. A friend of mine that I work with passed away, and I was at her funeral, and she was kind of a party girl. And I said, I'll just have one glass of wine for her. And that glass of wine turned into, 30 minutes later, I was at the liquor store buying King cans, and then I was on a bender for 4 months. And that was 7 years ago. And that was the last time I drank. But what guy that I work with, I had lots of people. I never really went to AA or anything, but I had people in my life that I could talk to when I needed it. And the last time I quit drinking, this guy that I work with, he's been through it all. He's been through drugs and alcohol. He was homeless. He lost his whole family and everything. And he said something to me that really stuck with me. And he said, you're going to have to make a choice. You either have to choose your family or you have to choose the alcohol, because there's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to have both. And I think that's, that was really the thing that really stuck with me. And I think I got it all out of my system now. And, it really sucks to piss away 3 years of sobriety. It can be really, really hard, and you get really depressed on yourself and you think, man, I just fucking wasted everything away. But for anyone out there that's dealing with that, what I would say is, yeah, it is hard, but look at it as a learning experience, because all those times that I fucked up just made me stronger in the long run. And I'm almost grateful for those times, because now if I ever think about having a drink, I just think about all those times, and there's no way I'm ever going to do that again. So it's all kind of part of the journey. I'm not saying that it's good to relapse, but if you do, try to look at it in a positive way instead of letting it get you so down, because it is really tough.
Yeah, lessons learned from your mistakes, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting how we both use the word normal person or normal people when we say, I wish I could drink like a normal person. Like, what is a normal person for drinking? But yeah, for us, it's because I totally understand where you're coming from. I was very much in the same boat. It would be one drink, and then before I know it, I'm down at the shop and I'm buying more alcohol, and I don't need any more alcohol, but you keep drinking the alcohol, and you don't even really know why you're doing it. It's so automatic, like autopilot, isn't it? You keep finding another beer or another vodka or something. But yeah, I just find it funny how we put people into normal people when it comes to one glass of wine. But I've never understood it either.
It's so crazy. And it's almost like when I first quit drinking, like, I think getting sober is pretty cool now. It's pretty like acceptable. And, when I first quit drinking, it wasn't normal. So like, there was something wrong with you if you weren't drinking or going to the bar after work.
Are you pregnant?
But like, especially, that's like the way our society is. I can only speak to where I live because I haven't traveled the world, but like, drinking is a way of life. And if you don't drink, then you're kind of like an outsider.
Yeah, and that is exactly it. It's been people always ask you, why aren't you drinking? But they never ask you, like, why aren't you doing cocaine in the toilets? Or, it's always it's the alcohol, Is there a problem with you?
And I'm glad you said that. A couple weeks ago, I went to a wedding with my wife, and it was her cousin got married. And, I've been sober for a long time, but I still have a hard time going to these events when I'm the only one not drinking. And I'm going to turn this into an even longer story, but I've been really like going deep within myself to find out, what is this? Why is this coming up for me? Whether it's going to family Thanksgiving or Christmas and everyone's drinking, why is it bothering me so much? And then I realized what it is. It's not the fact that I want to drink. It's the fact that I feel left out and I feel like an outsider, and everyone's in this energy of drinking and having fun and being silly. And I'm like not one of the cool kids in the crowd. So it's almost this feeling of being left out. So just understanding what that feeling was a huge thing for me. But we're at this wedding, and I said, I'm trying to be silly, right? Because I was doing some, soul searching before, and I don't want to be the downer, like they're all depressed because everyone's having fun. So like, I can have fun without alcohol. I can be silly and stuff, and then I'm being silly, and my wife says to me, like, why are you being so loud? Why are you being like so whatever? And I'm like, I can be silly. I don't have to be drinking, but I was going a little over the top,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But anyways,
Overcompensating.
to get to the point of my story was I left the wedding early. We were going to go home at like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. And I said to my wife, we got like an hour left and we're out of here. And everyone's drinking and dancing and going crazy. And I'm just kind of like pacing around waiting to go home. And she said she was going to stay later. And I said, okay, that's cool. You're going to get a ride with your sister. I'll just go home now. See you later. I'm not saying goodbye to anyone. I'm just going to bounce. What they call that, the Irish
exit.
Irish exit. I used to be
Yeah.
notorious for that at the bar too. I would just leave and not say bye to anyone. And then I was trying to think of a way to explain how I feel to her because nobody gets it, right? Because what's your problem? Like everyone's just having a few drinks. What's the big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought about it and I came up with an analogy you reminded me with there. And the next day I said to her, like, can I tell you something? I said, imagine this, because my wife's pretty like straight. She doesn't drink a lot. She drinks a little bit. She doesn't do drugs. She smoked the odd joint or whatever, but I was always the one that did everything. And she's never done cocaine before in her life. And I said, imagine you were at a party and everyone was doing cocaine and you didn't do cocaine. How would that make you feel? Would you feel uncomfortable? Would you want to leave? She's like, yeah, I would feel uncomfortable. I said, well, that's how I feel when I'm at somewhere and everyone's drinking. But it's just that drinking is so normalized that no one thinks of it as a drug. But as far as I'm concerned, alcohol has ruined more lives than cocaine ever has. I'm not saying cocaine's good. I'm not saying anything is good. I'm just trying. And I think that got through to her a little bit so she could kind of understand where I'm coming from.
I think that's a great way to put it for people that don't necessarily view alcohol, as you say, as like a drug or a problem. But for us, it is a problem because we don't know when to stop. And that's the issue. So yeah, I think it's a great way to get someone to sort of relate to you of how you're feeling. But I totally understand where you are when it comes to these social events as well. I was at a wedding recently and I'm sat there in the corner or on the side watching everyone, and you sort of feeling yourself and you're thinking, am I acting weird? Do people think I'm weird? Like, should I be more loud? Am I doing sober right? Am I doing the wedding right? Because I don't know, because you've always been intoxicated at these sort of events, so you don't really know how to be sober in it. And it is a really uncomfortable place for yourselves to be when you don't know how you should act. You don't know how you should be in it. And these are people you've known for years, but the only reason you've maybe created such a bond or a connection with them is through alcohol. So when you take the alcohol away, it's such a different energy with your friends again. So you're relearning yourself and your relationship to them, and if they actually fit you without the alcohol, which I find really interesting.
And talking about energy too, like alcohol is such a low vibrational thing to do. And, if you're sitting there sober and you're not to say you're better than anyone, but you're vibrating at a higher vibration and everyone's drinking, they're at a lower vibration and, you're just not going to mix. It's like oil and water. It's just not going to mix at all. And lots of people will say like, well, I just get a drink and, just get a ginger ale or something with lime so it looks like you're drinking and, blah, blah, blah. But that's still not going to take away, you can pretend, but it's still not going to take away the feelings that you have inside about feeling different or feeling left out or feeling that energy difference. So, yeah, it is a big thing.
And would you drink before you got to a party sometimes as well for that sort of social anxiety? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I would drink 8 tall cans before I even went to the bar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's similar. You'd get yourself sort of pre-hyped up for the party, and you get there and you're already half cut and everyone else is just starting. And then people are wondering, why is Jason so wrecked already? Jason's already had 8 cans.
I used to I play guitar and I play music and stuff. So I used to have jam nights at my house. And by the time my buddies got there, I was off my face by the time they even got there. So I don't even know how we played. And that's another thing too with alcohol, because I used it to help me, for my confidence. So when I go to the bar, I could talk to girls and I could do all this stuff, and relying on that my whole life. And then getting sober, I have no confidence. I have no self-esteem. I don't love myself, all this stuff. So then I had to learn how to do all that stuff, because I'd never learned that, because I always use alcohol to mask or to, help me in those situations.
Mm-hmm. Listen, it's there though. That's the thing as well. It's within us. We don't know how to show it or to bring it to the forefront when we don't have what they call, Dutch courage or a beer in us.
Exactly. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
how
One thing I've learned, everything is within us. And that's why I named my signature program is called The Journey Within. It's all about going within. But from what I've learned is we're just covered up by all these layers and layers of programs and stories that we've told ourselves that we learned when we were younger and all this stuff. And that's what we believe at ourselves. So like all the work that I've been doing over the years is to get rid of all that programming and get rid of all those old stories and write my own stories
Mhm.
or those, uncover the true me that was hidden beneath all that stuff, all these stories of who I told myself I was and, caring about what other people think. But yeah, that's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it.
No, it is, and I think it's the inner work. Like you said at the beginning of the show, there, the inner work, I think, is what you don't understand when you get sober. Is the hard part. You think, oh,
Yeah.
how am I going? I'm not going to be able to drink. Am I going to be able to do that? When you realize you can do that, it's working with all the shit you've sort of buried for so long, unpacking it, unraveling it. That's when you realize I'm pretty messed up. There's a reason why I've been doing this, and I've just been avoiding
Yeah.
it for so long.
And for me, I was like California sober. I just learned this term too, because
California sober.
I still smoked pot for years.
Right, okay.
And that was my excuse. And
California sober. Okay.
my wife was like cool with it because she'd rather me be stoned than be drunk. As long as I wasn't drinking, I could do whatever I want, basically. So I was smoking pot for years and years and years. And that took me, smoking pot was harder to quit for me than drinking was, I think, just because drinking was so long ago. It took me 2 years to finally quit. I quit for 6 months, and then the same thing. I would like think, oh, I can just, go smoke a bowl or something. And then the next day or a couple days later, I'm back to like smoking all day, getting high before I go to work and meeting with my boss. And I'm just like a fucking mess. And then I quit again and then I start again. But it made me learn a lot about myself because I quit drinking, but I didn't really heal those parts of me or do the deep inner work. But I wasn't going deep enough. So when I quit smoking pot, that's when I had to go really deep. And then I tried to understand like, okay, why am I doing this? Because I'm smoking because I don't like the way I feel. So I'm smoking. But then after I get high, I don't like the way it makes me feel. So what the hell am I doing? Because I practiced meditation. When I first got sober a long time ago, the biggest thing that changed my life was meditation. I joined a meditation group about 10 years ago. And so I had the awareness. So every time I would relapse smoking pot, I would really like get curious with my thoughts and my feelings and just watch it. And I could see what was going on, but I still couldn't stop myself. I was like, man, I'm like a crackhead. I wake up in the morning and all I can think about is getting high and I just want to get high all day. How can I go from being totally sober 6 months to being this fucked up like so fast? But I realized it was just an escape. I was just escaping my emotions. And you get, for people out there that do smoke pot, or it's the same with drinking, like you want to drink when you have a good day, you want to drink when you have a bad day, you want to drink when you're sad, you want to drink when you're mad, when your kids are pissing you off, you want to go smoke a joint outside to calm down. Everything triggers you to want to do it. And then so many times that I quit, like it took me 2 years to quit. And so many times I would quit and I learned so much about myself. And it was almost like, it was kind of neat because it was like I did this like experiment on myself. But I came up with this analogy and it was almost like my security blanket. Like, when it's like chilly outside and you're like under the blankets and you're all nice and warm and cozy and you don't want to get up. That's what like smoking pot is for me. And then when I don't have it, it's like that feeling when you get up out of the blanket and you're like chilly and you just want to go back underneath the blanket. That's what it was like for me. And it was just, and then I learned that it would take me about 3 days after I quit to get rid of that really uncomfortable feeling where I didn't want to go back under the blanket again. But it was like my security blanket. It just numbs you and nothing matters and you don't have to feel anything and you can just chill. and it's good times. But yeah, I smoked pot. My nickname growing up was Doobie. My last name's Dobbie, so everyone used to call me Doobie in high school.
Irid classic.
Yeah. So I was the Doobie brother. But that's one thing I never thought I would give up, but I'm so glad I did. And another point of that, the first time I quit smoking pot like 3 years ago, that's when my massive spiritual awakening kicked in. It's like another thing I noticed, if you want to talk about that too, was when I quit, that's when it kicked in, and I really started following my intuition and feeling my intuition, and my body would buzz and it would vibrate. And then I started learning about that and reading about that and getting into that spiritual stuff. But then when I would start smoking again, I would notice I was disconnected.
Okay.
And then, so that was a part of my experiment too. I couldn't meditate. I couldn't concentrate. I didn't have that connection to myself and to the universe or to God or whatever you want to call it. It's like I was totally cut off. So that was like one of my main motivations was to quit, was to stay connected to my intuition and stay connected to my higher power or whatever you want to call it, because I don't want to lose that connection. And, if something's going to disconnect me from that, I don't want to do it.
It's mental how you describe the weed situation, because every sort of word you were describing and how you were putting it is exactly how I've described it to my girlfriend, to my parents, especially the comfort blanket. I said it's my comfort blanket. Like, if you take that away from me, I freak out. It's like if you take a kid's favorite toy away from them. It's like I would smoke and then I would see that I've maybe got a joint's worth left, and then you start panicking because you think, I can't have no weed, and I need to have weed. I can't have none, because then what am I going to do? And then knowing that there's none there would freak me out. It's so true. I never thought I'd give it up, and I finally have. And to me, like you said there as well, it's, what you're doing and you don't want to do it, but you keep doing it, and you're asking yourself, why am I doing this? Because I would go to bed sometimes because I would smoke just to sleep, but I would smoke from the minute I finished, say, work or whatever I was doing. But I'd smoke, periodically throughout the evening until I got to a point where I'm going to now just go into a weed coma, basically. That's how far it got to me. And then I'd look at myself brushing my teeth and I'd be like, what are you doing? Why? You don't even want to do this. And like you said there, you're not even enjoying it. You're not even enjoying being high anymore. You're just doing it because it's so much of who you are at the moment, but you don't want to be this person. You want to be someone else. And yeah, as soon as I gave that up, that's when I started to realize that I was more in tune with myself. But I just wanted to ask you, how did you follow your intuition? Like, what is an intuition? How would you describe an intuition?
Good question. I think it's different for everybody. For me, it's like a feeling I get in my body. It's almost like there's a couple different things, but the first one would be like a feeling I get in my stomach. So, like when you're a kid and you steal something from the store and you get that feeling in your stomach, like that bad feeling, like you shouldn't do that. That's like your intuition telling you you shouldn't be doing that. But then on the other side, it's the feeling you get where it's like an excited sort of feeling. So I'll give you an example of the first time and the most significant time I heard it. I was a head chef at this winery, and I had a meeting with one of my sales reps who sold seafood from British Columbia on the west coast of Canada. And we had a meeting because we were high-end restaurants. We were looking to get some seafood from these guys. And at the end of the meeting, so one of my goals was I wanted to get out of the kitchen and find a Monday to Friday job. I didn't care what it was. And at the end of the meeting, he mentioned to me, we're looking for a sales rep for Ontario, which is the province I live in. He said, someone like you that has West Coast seafood knowledge, because I used to work on Vancouver Island in a hotel. So I know the West Coast, I know the seafood, and I'm a chef, so I know the kitchen stuff. And then I'm like, okay, cool. And then after the meeting, I went outside to like have a cigarette. And at this point, I wasn't smoking pot at all. And my whole body just started fucking vibrating and buzzing like crazy, like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. And I'm like, okay, well, I wonder if that means something. Maybe that means that I should apply for this job. So I went home and wrote my resume and sent this guy a letter and applied for the job. And I didn't get the job. So then I thought, okay, what the fuck was that feeling then? If it was, was it telling me something else? It didn't make any sense. So then I ended up we were about going into summertime, and I said to my wife, I can't fucking do another summer in the kitchen. I'm going to kill myself. I'm not doing it. And it's now or never. Either I quit my job now, because I didn't want to be that guy that quits right in the middle of summer when it's busy. Like, I got to quit now before Mother's Day, or else I'm stuck there for another season. I got to get out of there. And then I ended up, I got a job as a breakfast cook at a golf course. So I went from executive chef at this high-end winery, making $85,000 a year with all these benefits, to working breakfast at a golf course. And I didn't give a shit. Well, I had this idea. I was like, man, I'll just, why don't I just look for a breakfast cook? Because I was looking for any job, anything, Monday to Friday, like cutting grass, anything. I didn't care what I did, but they all paid shit. So I came across this job at the golf course, and it was like $24 an hour plus tips. So I'm like, that's pretty good for a breakfast cook. Start at 7 a.m. I'm done at like 3. That's great. So I applied for the job, and the chef was like, yeah, of course. I had more experience than the chef there. And I got the job, and we'll turn a couple of stories into one here. And then when I quit, so I gave my notice at where I was at, and then I quit. And then I started smoking pot again, which was bad. And I'm doing this job, and I had to like dumb myself down. So the way that I did it was I got high in the morning.
That'll do it. Yeah.
But it was bad.
No.
And also I was like excited because I'm making this big decision and all this stuff. And also, when you quit smoking pot for a long time, I'm getting off track here, but then you smoke a little bit after not smoking for like 6 months. It's really, really like good. And that's another thing that I've learned, like smoking pot it amplifies your current state of consciousness. And if you're using it intentionally, so people will use it like spiritually, intentionally, with some sort of like ritual as to like have set an intention to do something, to do meditation or whatever. But because I had an amazing experience. I smoked a little bit, and I was like, the trees were brighter, all the colors were brighter, and it was just like amazing. But then as I started smoking it more and more again, I'm smoking it for a different reason. Like I'm smoking it just to get high, and I'm at a lower level. So it's amplifying that lower level that I'm at. But that's another topic. But anyways, getting back to the intuition thing. So I started working at this golf course, and I said to my wife, don't worry, I'm going to have a sales job within 3 months. Trust me. Just trust me. And you ever heard of Joe Dispenza?
He's
Dr. Joe?
Yeah, the speaker.
Yeah, so I read one of his books. I read this book, Becoming Supernatural, and that was around this time too. And it was, and I was doing these meditations, and his whole thing was just to like let go of expectations and just trust that it's going to happen. Like, how do you just trust something's going to happen? How do you just trust? Because I couldn't trust. I want a job. I need to apply. I need to go out. I need to go meet people. I need to put my suit on and go talk to people. But I was always just trying to force things to happen. But anyways, long story, to circle back to the intuition thing, I was working at this place. I was there for 3 weeks, and I get a phone call from my buddy, one of my old seafood reps. And he said, hey man, I heard you're looking for a seafood sales job. And I said, yeah. And he said, I'm just about to go give my notice today to my boss. If you want the job, I'll put in a word for you. And I said, yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Then the owner of the place called me the next day. This was like on a Thursday. I went and saw him on a Friday. I started the job on the Monday, and I fucked over the place I was at. I'm like, sorry, dude, I got a job. I'm out of here. You don't have a breakfast cook for the summer. The chef was pissed at me, and the golf course doesn't buy seafood from me now, obviously, because they hate me there. That's another thing I learned from one of my mentors or coaches that I worked with, was that the universe will give you what you want, but not in the way that you expect it to happen. And that's another thing of letting go of expectations and just trusting it was going to happen. Because I got the job that I wanted, but not the job that I thought I was going to get. So the seafood sales job I got is actually better than the one that I originally applied for, because it's more local, it's close to home. I get to stay in the Niagara area. I don't have to travel all across Canada. So it actually, even though I was disappointed I didn't get that job, the job I got was actually better. And another thing with intuition is, just the feeling I get in my body. Like I just made a huge like business change myself too. And I switched the way that my business runs, and I just started a school community a couple weeks ago. And I thought, first I was just going to move my private community over there. And then once I got on there and started poking around, it was really cool because my business was like, I had one thing on this platform, one thing on this platform, one thing on this platform. Like I can just put it all on school. And I canceled my website. I canceled all this stuff, and it's actually costing me less money. But the reason I did that was because of the feeling I got in my gut and that intuition feeling in my stomach. When I got the idea, my body just started like buzzing. And the more that you do it and kind of like pay attention to it and trust it, then the kind of louder it gets. And that was just like 3 weeks ago. And then I said to myself, because I just spent a year working with 3 separate business coaches. One person tells me one thing, one person tells me another thing. They say, no, don't do what that person said. And what that person said is wrong. And, I don't know anything, so I'm just trying to learn. But right now, I said to myself a couple weeks ago, the only business decision I'm making moving forward is the one that my intuition tells me to make. I'm making decisions from now on based on that. But it takes a bit of practice to be able to trust it and feel it. But there's books out there on it and lots of things you can do to kind of research it. But moving forward, man, that's, they say that, you got to trust your gut. That's basically what it is. Even as a chef, you have a gut feeling about things sometimes. And I was talking to my neighbor about this the other day, who's also a chef. And he said, man, I'm never not trusting my gut again, because every time I don't listen to it, something always goes fucked up. And that's what it is. But there's like subtle things, where just little things. And then there's big things. And the other thing I've learned is, because I've had these few big moments where my whole body's vibrating and buzzing, that's what I thought it was. But if you learn to get quiet and actually listen and tune in with yourself, your intuition is always there, and it's usually little subtle things. It could be like you're driving one day and all of a sudden you get the idea or the feeling that you should go this way instead of that way, but you don't know why. So you go this way and you end up running into someone, or, like, here's another example. Then I'll leave this alone. I went to a restaurant the other day and I just had the feeling like I want to go to this restaurant and I've wanted to go there and like have a burger. So I stopped in, and there was these people, there's 3 seats right at the front, right in front of where the chefs work. And there's a couple sitting there, and I'm like, oh, can I can just go sit right there. It's cool. I can talk to the chefs. He's one of my customers. And the lady's like, I don't know. There's a couple there. I don't know if they want you. And I said, okay, that's cool. Like, let's just ask them if they don't mind. And they were cool. And then I was sitting down beside them. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should ask them where they're from. And then I thought, no, your intuition's not logical. It's your feeling. So you get the intuition feeling, and then your logical mind comes in and goes, no, you shouldn't do that. Don't bother them. They look like they're having a good time. So then I ended up just asking them where they're from. And then we ended up, turns out like they're surgeons. They don't live very far from me. The lady was looking to buy this like salmon roe. So I got her information. I'm selling her some like wild sockeye salmon roe next week. We talked about all this stuff, and it was like the most amazing conversation and person I've met in so long. But if I never would have like listened to my gut feeling to like go there and go sit there and talk to this person, then I would have never even met them or had a conversation with them. And it's just mind blowing.
It is. And I think you said there, it's trying to not listen so much maybe to the logical mind when your gut or the first instinct or intuition comes to you, because we've all probably been there where we've had something pop into our heads or a feeling, and we've then talked ourselves out of it, because then we start to either self-doubt or, oh, well, that's stupid, don't do that, don't do this. And like you said there, and then if you act on it, you don't know what can happen. And my dad's always said that to me as well. He said, doesn't matter what you do or what path you take, doors will open, things will happen. Do you know what I mean? So you should just, and he's always tried to say to me, just trust in whatever it is you're doing or where you're going, because you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to bump into, or what conversation you'll have with someone one day, and it will change your life maybe forever.
Exactly.
But I think it's trying to believe that yourself, because it is very hard to, I think, for many people to trust or to let go of control or loosen the grip a little bit of their own life. I think if you think to yourself, if I have control of what I'm doing or the decisions I'm making or where my life's going, then that's better. But it also comes with a lot of stress, because you're trying to, like you said there, you're trying to force an outcome that you have in your mind that this is how it should go, and not necessarily like what happened to you. you got a job that you were looking for, but not necessarily in the way that you planned to get the job. So I think it all comes, it's interesting that your intuition and control are all wrapped together. And do you think your intuition has grown due to being sober and from meditation and just sort of being more in tune with yourself?
Yep, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes to all those. And if I started smoking pot again tomorrow, it would be cut off.
And
for me.
with the meditation, do you do that? Is that something you do on your own? I know you said you started a group a while ago. Do you still go to that group? Do you do it on your own? Is it?
I do it on my own every day. It's a daily practice. So when I first got sober, I was all messed up, and I went and I got a referral from my doctor, and I went to the outpatient mental health clinic where I live because I wanted to talk to somebody, but I didn't want to pay for therapy or anything. And in Ontario, we have free healthcare, so there's some programs I could go to. So I went to this information session and I chose 3 groups. One was a mindfulness meditation group, one was the Be Your Best Self group, and one was a CBT level 1. And my wife told me for years, you should meditate, you should meditate, you should meditate. But I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. That's like girl stuff, and it's like yoga, weird stuff. I'm not doing that. And now
My girlfriend said the same to me. Sorry, yeah. And I had the same response. Yeah.
And now I'm like, so I joined this group and I would go, I did it for 3 years until they kicked me out. I did level 1, level 2, level 3, and it was amazing. I learned a lot. And then I got really interested in Buddhism and mindfulness and started reading some books on all that stuff. And then I kind of did it on my own, on and off. And then I would meditate. So I used to meditate mainly to deal with stress and anxiety because of my job. And I would meditate every day before work, especially like I had some people that I worked with. So some difficult people that I worked with. I used to work with this one chap a long time ago before my meditation journey. And what I did before we worked a breakfast shift together was I would have to drink a minimum of 8 tall cans the night before just to get through the shift with him so that I wouldn't like fucking go crazy and throw stuff at him.
Yeah.
But that's how I coped with it. But then, later in life, I started meditating before work because I had some employees that would really drive me up the wall. So I would meditate to like calm myself. And I used to have panic attacks and all this stuff. And then I think that's what sort of opened the sort of spiritual door for me. Then it turned into this spiritual practice or this spiritual awakening and all this stuff. And then I got interested in sort of Asian sort of yogi sort of stuff. And I read this book, Paramahansa Yogananda. I used to listen to this podcast, Nick Zai. He's got a really cool podcast. And then I'd write down all these books. And one of them was Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And then I read that book. And at the end of reading that book, I listened to my intuition and I signed up to become a self-realization fellowship student. And I've been, the last couple of years, doing the lessons and teachings and meditation of that sort of stuff. So I used to do listen to guided meditations. Like there's apps and stuff you can get and you can just listen to a different meditation. There's millions of different ones you can do. There's like gratitude meditations, there's body scan meditations, there's walking meditations, there's like muscle tense and relax meditations. I used to do those for my panic attacks and stuff, but now I just do, and the main thing I teach is just breath awareness meditation. So if you have a hard time concentrating, I would recommend doing a guided meditation because, and people think, oh, I can't meditate because my brain's too busy and all this stuff. And so for you people out there that think that, my brain goes 1,000,000 miles an hour. And if it was a computer, there'd be 100 tabs open at the same time. And it never stops. Even when I'm meditating, it never turns off. But what you learn is you focus on something. And the main thing they teach you is focus on your breath, usually on your belly. So you sit up straight and you focus on your belly and you just try to do that. Start with 5 minutes a day. Calm down, breathing. Your heart's going to slow down. Your blood pressure is going to go down. And I guarantee you, if you do that every day for 5 minutes for a week, you're going to notice a huge change in your life, in the way you react to things, how much more patience you have. But that's the main thing that I teach is the breath awareness one. And you try to pay attention to your breath without forcing your breath. So it's a little bit difficult because when you start, noticing your breath, you want to push it in and out. But then you just kind of learn just to let it go on its own. Because breathing is something we always do. without thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's being aware of that. And then you get this mind-body connection thing, because then you start being aware of your body. You do a body scan meditation where you scan your whole body, and you can feel your feet and feel your hands, and you can feel your whole body,
Mm-hmm.
because your body is all part of you. And it just really, puts everything together. But I guess, right now I do like a silent meditation every morning, and some days I'm super busy and I don't have time because I have to get up early and go to work. So if I don't have time, I try to just do 5 minutes, or if not, I'll do it before I go to bed. If I'm lying in bed, I'll just close my eyes and focus on my breathing for 15, 20 minutes before I fall asleep.
Yeah.
For me, it's like a daily practice. And this one teacher, Michael Beckwith, says, if you're, the feeling when you leave your house and you forget to brush your teeth, and you're like, that like gross feeling all day, like, oh, I forgot to brush my teeth.
Hairy teeth. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you start meditating, if you don't meditate for one day, that's kind of how you feel when you go out in the world. You feel like a little bit off. So it's like, I recommend for anyone, any people that I teach or my clients and stuff, to take 5, 10 minutes or 15 minutes first thing in the morning, as soon as you wake up, in silence, whether you're just lying in your bed or you don't have to get up and sit on a cushion and cross your legs and go like this and burn incense and all that stuff. And you totally can if you want to, and burn a candle. I've done all that. I don't do that anymore, but I've totally done that. It's the best way to start your day, because how do most of us start our day? We pick up our phone and we fucking read our emails and oh shit, and how many comments did I get? How many likes do I have on my post? And all this shit. And then you're scrolling social media and it's doom and gloom and everything. Yeah. Then you're stressed, and then your dopamine is spiked, and you're going to be craving that all day long. So what I like to do in the morning is I do a little meditation, practice some gratitude, maybe set an intention for the day. Anything that I want to work on, or how do I want to show up today? Because I used to be so negative and hate my life. I would wake up in the morning dreading the day. Oh, I wish I didn't have to do this. And now I wake up in the morning, I'm like excited, and I'm like, hey, what do we got going on today? And a cool thing, like the more you meditate, the more you build that awareness muscle in your head. Think of it like working out, like going to the gym to lift weights. You're not going to get ripped overnight. It takes years of training. And it's the same thing with your mind. The more you meditate and focus on your breath. So I guess another thing I should add, I'm just all over the place here. I apologize.
That's absolutely fine, Jason.
When you're meditating, this is how my brain works. I got like 10 fucking tabs open over here and 10 things I want to say over here.
I'm enjoying it. You're going to talk.
But when you're meditating, I get fired up about this. When you're meditating and focusing on your breath, then your mind starts to wander, as it always does. You're going to be thinking, oh, fuck, I have to do this later, or I have to do this, or I forgot to do this. And then you notice like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be meditating. And then you bring your awareness back to your breath. And every time you do that, that's a win. That's meditating. Because people think, oh, I can't do it because my mind is going crazy. Your mind is always going to go crazy, but you just have to build that awareness muscle in your head. And every time you notice yourself wandering and bring yourself back to your focal point, whether it's your breath or whatever you're focusing on, it could be your body or whatever you're focusing on, and then that is a win. And there's no such thing as a bad meditation or a good meditation. A meditation just is a meditation, because people say, oh, I had the worst meditation today, or oh, I had the best meditation today. And there's no such thing. And it's almost even better to meditate with distractions. So I started a meditation group a couple years ago. This is like how my business started. I wanted to start a meditation group because I had this intuition moment. Okay, we'll get really weird and back up here. I was at work one day, looking out the window in the kitchen. Someone called in sick. I was there fucking working all day, having like, the best day of my life, being sarcastic here. And I had this voice in my head tell me, you need to be helping people. And I thought, what the fuck does that mean? I need to be helping people. And it was like, wasn't my voice. I don't know if it was my higher self or, I'm not religious. I'm not a religious person, but I could say, it was, now I know why people say, oh, God spoke to me or whatever. I don't know what it was. It was my spirit guides. I don't know what the fuck it was. It doesn't matter. But that put me searching on a path to what the fuck am I supposed to do with my life? Because I know I'm not supposed to be spending my whole life working in a kitchen because I have way more to give to the world. Like, how am I going to make the world a better place cooking someone's food all day, making
Mm-hmm.
that person happy? But I think, I meant to do a lot more. And that put me searching on this path of looking for my purpose and finding what I'm supposed to do. And then the next phase of that was I got this sort of message or idea to like start a meditation group. So I started a meditation group in my area called the Niagara Mindfulness Meditation Group, and it was free. And I rented out a room in the library, and I was just trying to get people together to share my story and spread awareness about meditation. And we met once a month, and we do like a meditation, have a discussion. It was like a super cool setup, but it never really got off the ground. I had a few people that came every week, but people weren't really fully into that. And I had a Facebook page, and we had about 100 people in the group, but no one was showing up. And then some people wanted me to do it online. So then I got a Zoom account, and I started doing it online, and like 2 people came, and I'm kind of like wasting my time here. And then I stopped doing it. But that was like the bridge to get me to where I'm at now, because it forced me I started an Instagram account, and I was posting about it. And I never used to post even on my personal account because I was so scared of what people would think. I wouldn't even comment or do anything. And it forced me how to use Zoom. It forced me how to make a Facebook group page and make events and all this stuff. So looking back now, that was just like the starting point of my journey. And I don't have the meditation group anymore, but inside my private community, I have like all my meditations, some that I've recorded, some that I recommend. And it's like the foundation of what I teach is meditation and awareness, because if you want to change your thoughts, you need to be aware of them first. If you're not aware of them, how can you change your thought patterns? So that's like the core thing that we teach. And in my community, Stress Free Sobriety on School, I have like a 7-day meditation challenge. And I created this thing called, I got this idea one day, and I whipped up this thing. I finished my meditation one day, and I got this ideas. And I get ideas, and I just fucking act on them. I'm not like, oh, that would be cool. Like, no, I get an idea, I do it right away. Like, my wife thinks I'm psycho, but like, I get shit done. I don't put things off. But I made this guide. It's called The Essential Guide to Mindfulness and Meditation. And I just it's almost like meditation for dummies, like just explains it. Like, what is meditation? How do you meditate? What are the barriers of meditation? And like, how to do it? What are the problems that come up? Like, just everything, all the different types of meditation, what to do after meditation, the benefits of meditation, the health benefits of meditation, and put this all together for my private community. And then I was going to make like a freebie of it and make like a funnel to try and get contacts when I had my email list. So now it's just part of my private community. And so as you can tell, I'm very, very passionate about meditation, but sometimes I forget that I've been doing it for so long, and everyone needs to start somewhere. Like I told myself the other day, we have this 7-day meditation challenge in my community, and no one's really doing it. But, the one guy's doing it a couple days a week. And I had to remind myself, when I started it, I was only doing it once a week. I wasn't doing it 7 days a week. So you got to start somewhere. And, 1 day a week is a great place to start. If you can do it every day, that's great. And another really big one is gratitude practice. I did a year-long gratitude challenge where every morning I'd write down 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm looking forward to today, and set 2 intentions for the day. I did that for a whole year, and that changed my life.
Okay, I might adapt that. Yeah, because I started doing the meditation recently because my therapist told me I was breathing wrong, and I was thinking of, God, I've survived for 34 years. I thought I was breathing all right, but apparently I was breathing wrong. So, like you said there about it's I was breathing a lot from my chest and not my stomach.
Yes. Yep.
And so he said you should try meditation, and I always thought it was a bit hocus pocus or woo, a bit out there. But no, I did, and I've been doing it now for about 3 or 4 weeks.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, morning and night. Like I say, I start my day with it now, and I've seen a change in my tolerance, or my window of sort of tolerance. My patience has got better. And it was funny because it was interesting because you said when you missed like your morning meditation, I felt that the other day actually. It was the first time I hadn't done it in the morning, and I was on a phone call to my dad, and it was the first time I've got annoyed at him in a long time. And I was like, I wonder if that was because I didn't have that moment for myself in the morning, and my whole morning, because I didn't have that, felt like it was all off now. I didn't feel myself. I didn't feel like I was ready to do anything, because I hadn't had time to clear myself out before I started getting on with the day, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. Another thing too, like if you're meditating every day and you skip a day, I was telling this to one of my clients the other day. Don't be so hard on yourself when you skip a day. Cause I used to do that too and like beat myself up like, oh, I missed a day and I fucking failed and I'm shit. You know, life happens. And like, you know, if you miss your meditation in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon. You can do it like in your car, or if you're not when you're driving, but you know, when you're stopped in the parking lot, close your eyes for a couple minutes, or, you know, it doesn't have to always be a formal thing like sit on the mat. And with the breathing too, like most people don't know about breathing, but like breathing into your chest, like that's like the stress breathing. I forget the two names for it. There's like the parasympathetic and whatever. I don't know the names, but
No,
like
neither do I.
breathing in really calms your nervous system. Because when
Is
you
it
notice you get stressed, you start to do like chest breaths, and your breath gets really fast when you're breathing into your chest, like that fight or flight.
shallow? I think
Yeah.
is, yeah. But no, is right, because I, especially with the meditation, going back to what you said about having a good or a bad one, sometimes I do say that to myself as well. I'll say that was a really bad session, or that was a good session. But I want to add on to that as well, because I have loads of thoughts when I'm meditating, and I'm like, I'm not even meditating, because all I'm doing is thinking. But then I realize I'm thinking, and then I bring myself back. And I think what you said there about, it's realizing that you're having thoughts, but then bring yourself back to a center. So in your day-to-day life, because what used to sort of affect me was my mind or my thoughts would run away with me, and then I'd freak out or I'd panic, and then that's when I would go to alcohol or to weed and to get rid of that noise. But if you
turn it
can,
down.
yeah, so if you're meditating and you're practicing to come back in and leave those thoughts alone, you're learning to live with your thoughts or manage yourself a bit better when it gets a bit more chaotic, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And like what you said about the window of tolerance too, like when you practice meditation, you widen that window of tolerance. So those moments where you would normally just react, like, you know, when you react and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't yell at my kid. You have that window where it's like a split second. It's tiny, but it's there. Then you get an extra split second to choose how you react. And that's a game changer, especially, you know, I have 3 kids and my house is like psycho, and I'm a pretty calm guy, but, you know, my kids have taught me a lot of patience, and I was a patient guy before I had kids, but, like, they push you to your limits. Like, I've even thought, like, man, I'm a patient guy. I couldn't imagine someone with a temper having kids, because I would be scared to what they would do to them. But, having that window where you can make a decision before you react or before you say something, or to just be like, no, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to keep that to myself, is friggin' huge benefit of meditation.
And it's
That's awesome, man.
And it's amazing how it's amazing how that 1 second or that split second, just having that extra moment to sort of understand yourself, or how do I want to react to this, rather than just, because, I was quite used to, I acted on emotion quite quickly, and then sometimes get me into trouble. So having that awareness of myself to be like, okay, and it all happens so fast. You picture how it's going to go if you react in a certain way, and you think, do I want that? No, I don't want that. And you find another way, you know, like you said there, I'll bite my tongue on this occasion. This doesn't need to be said today, or this doesn't need to be a thing. Whereas before it was just emotion before logic. Now it's a bit more logic before emotion.
Yeah, and that even starts because your thoughts create your emotion. So it even starts, you know, being aware of that thought that's creating the emotion, and you almost stop that thought that creates that emotion, or like it's all connected. Like you're still allowed to get mad. You're still gonna have messed up thoughts, but you don't need to act on every single thought that comes into your mind. You know, in Buddhism and stuff, they teach you that to think of your thoughts like clouds passing through the sky.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah,
and just let them flow, or like a river. And also there's other meditations you can do where you focus on your thoughts. You know, someone says, oh, I got to make a decision. I'm going to go meditate about that. That's not trying to push away your thoughts. You can do a meditation, and okay, you could say, okay, I got to make this like decision. I'm going to go meditate about it. And you can do a meditation and think about that. You can do meditation where you're trying to be aware of your thoughts and wondering, okay, why am I having this thought? Why is that coming up? And just observing them without judgment to try and learn something more about yourself. There's so many different ways. Have you tried or heard of a walking meditation?
No, I was going to say to you, I'd never heard of the walking meditation. I always thought
Very
meditation
interesting.
had to be like still. You had to be still
No,
in your body. No, okay.
no. It's walking meditation is like, so there's two types of meditation. There's like the formal practice and then there's the informal practice. Like meditation is just like mindfulness, being aware of what you're doing. So I'll give you two examples. Like one example, you go to a meditation retreat. I went to this meditation retreat once where it was a 3-day silent retreat. I've only been to one and I've always wanted to do it. I went last year and it was incredible. The only downside is I started smoking pot before I went, so I was high the whole time, which kind of ruined it, but it was still great. It wasn't last year. It was actually a couple years ago. But we'd do a sitting meditation for 20 minutes, and then we'd get up and do a walking meditation for 20 minutes, and then a sitting meditation again. So we did an hour-long meditation, but it was a great way to break it up. But you basically just walk really slow, one foot in front of the other, and you really feel the feeling of your feet touching the ground and the sensations of like your hips when they're moving. And you ever seen like...
Are you barefoot? Sorry.
No, you can do it with shoes on.
Okay.
You can do it, yeah, barefoot's always best. Like if you're like grounded out in nature is the best way to do it. You can look up like videos. Thich Nhat Hanh used to teach it. And you ever see these guys where they're just like walking really slow on the street and you think like, what is that weirdo doing? He's probably doing a walking meditation.
Okay.
And so another thing I used to do was I would get to work and I would get out of my car and I had like a 1 or 2 block to work. And that was like, I would practice mindfulness. So I would set an intention to, when I get out of my car, I'm going to be mindful of my walk to work. So I'm not rushing. I'm taking my time. I'm not doing like the super slow, like formal walking meditation, but I'm just walking. I'm being mindful. I'm focusing on the feeling of like my feet touching the ground and, focusing on the feeling of my body. And I'm focusing on the sounds and just being aware. You can be aware of like the sounds, the smells, what you're seeing, and, the feeling of the wind blowing on your face. And I used to do that every day when I went to work. That was like a routine that I set where, when I was walking that path, I would always just be like mindful. So that's like not necessarily a formal walking meditation, but that you can do a type of meditation. You can be walking in nature and just being mindful and taking your time, take the headphones off instead of listening to music, just listen to nature and try to get in tune with everything around you. And another example I have is I have this carpet downstairs in my basement and it's a nice, thick, like comfortable carpet. And I love the feeling of it. And every time I step on there, it reminds me to be mindful because I love the feeling of it. And I just will be aware of the feeling of my feet touching the carpet. And every time I go down there, I think about that. And it just like brings me back.
Yeah. I'm going to go buy me a carpet.
I could talk about meditation all day. And there's so many other things you can do. You can have little sticky notes and you can write little like reminders on it to like breathe and stick them all around your house on the mirror. So you look at it, it's like, okay, yeah, I need to remember to like take a moment or just take a breath and reconnect with myself. And you can set timers on your phone. Like I have all these timers on my iPhone that go off like every single day at 9:00. I have one that goes off every day at 9:00 to remind me that all my needs are met, to like be grateful for everything that I have. And then over time, you don't even need that timer anymore because it just becomes a part of your normal way of thought.
Is going back to the slowing down, that's something I've been trying to practice more so, because I've heard a lot of people talk about, I'm it always feels like I'm in a rush to do anything, where if I'm going somewhere, if I'm cleaning, if I'm working, if I'm cooking, everything is a panic. It feels like, even though it's not a panic, it feels like I'm stressed when I'm doing it. And people have said, even when I brush my teeth, I'm
Oh yeah,
as if
me too,
I've
man.
got somewhere to go.
I brushed the gums like off of my mouth because I used to brush my teeth like
Yeah,
so
and
bad.
I heard people say, and especially my therapist, and I heard other people talk about it, and they've said, yeah, just slow down, just take a minute, and then your nervous system will start to react to that, But back to the silent retreat, because I've been sort of researching at the moment, looking into them, would you say they're beneficial? Did you learn a lot on your silent retreat?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
And is it pure silence?
Yeah, it was pure silence. It was actually nice because I like being quiet and not talking to anyone. And I was lucky because it was all women. I was like the only guy there, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, and you share a room with someone, but there was no one to share a room with because when I got there, I was like, oh shit, I don't want to share a room with someone. I want my own room.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look into that. If you want privacy, like get your own room. But it was so cool because they fed us 3 meals a day. It was all vegetarian food, and there was no talking. We'd all just meet, and then we'd go have our breakfast. No, maybe first we'd meditate in the morning. Like 6 in the morning, we'd have to go meditate for like an hour, and then go for breakfast. And then after breakfast, there was a list of chores. So it was like mindful chores. So you could choose off the list. And I was like, fuck this. I'm here to chill. I'm not doing the fucking chores. I'm going to my room. And I just started smoking pot again. So I'd like go to my room and get high and just lie there. But you can do like the dishes and sweep and do all this stuff. And like you were saying before, like I was the same as you, like psycho, like if I have to do the dishes, I'm fucking doing the dishes and slamming everything away and getting it done. But like those things, like you can do those mindfully and slowly, like doing the dishes and vacuuming and folding laundry has taught me patience too, because I hate that job, especially with 3 kids.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah, we'd have breakfast and then we'd have a little break. Then we'd have like an afternoon meditation thing. And then we'd have like a dinner and then like an evening meditation. So you're meditating for like 3-4 hours throughout the day. But it was super cool. I was thinking the other day about if I'd want to go to one again, and I would like to, but I think I'm pretty like set with my own practice right now that I would like to again in the future, maybe like when I'm older and have more time. And I've seen this is something I want to try at some point in my life. Have you seen these things where these guys go in to like a cabin and they're blindfolded and they go in there for like a day or 3 days with no sunlight at all? And then have you seen those videos where they come out and they take the blindfold off and they're just like, what the?
Yeah. I've seen, I think I seen one not even that long ago, maybe 3 or 4 days ago. I've seen someone, they came out and they took the big sort of blindfold off and they looked like they'd just come out of a war zone, to be honest.
Yeah.
They would seen some stuff.
I would like to try that. That would be cool. Yeah, but I'd highly recommend doing a meditation retreat. It's super cool. And it's interesting because you're interacting with all these people without talking.
Yeah.
Like you're eating together and you're just watching people and stuff. It's,
and can you sense each other? Can you sense how people are with each other and how they are with you? And
yeah, I guess you can feel everyone's energy. And if you want to talk to someone, you just write it on a piece of paper and give it to them.
Like you're back at school, yeah.
And the person that's leading the meditation retreat, obviously they talk because they're leading it. But it was really cool. We did some cool meditations. We had some lady come in and did this like this sound bath meditation with all the sound bowls and everything. It was super, super cool. Really cool.
And the gratitude you said you started doing, you did every day for a year.
Yeah, every day for a year. My sister got everyone in our family these like gratitude books. And it was like a little book, and there was one for it was 365 days. And that inspired me to create something for my community. We have a similar thing inspired by that. It's a 7-day gratitude challenge. You start with 7 days, and then you can work your way up to 30 days and a month, and then eventually like do it for a year. And I have like prompts that you follow. So it's basically the same as a book. You can buy the book. The books are like expensive, but you can just get a journal and write in the journal to save yourself some money. But yeah, gratitude is incredible. Even just like, I don't do it anymore writing down every day, but I just will like think about what I'm grateful for and try to have the feeling of gratitude. But to start off, like writing down 3 things you're grateful for, and not like, they don't have to be big things, because we all want to be like, oh, this big thing and this big thing, but like the little things, be grateful for the little things. And like, it could be like the sound of the birds, or like the feeling of the sun off your skin coming in through the window, or, just like little things. And, having a cozy bed to sleep in, having a roof over your head, like having a house. I have this little tiny house, and I used to like hate my house. Like, oh, I hate my house. I wish we had a bigger house and all this stuff. But one thing I've learned is if you're not grateful for what you already have, the universe isn't going to give you anything else. It gives you
Mm.
more of what you are. So if you are ungrateful and say, "Oh, I hate this. This sucks. This sucks," the universe says, "Oh, great. Here's more of that." That's what you want.
Here's more shit. Yeah.
That's what you attract. You're putting out that energy or whatever. But if you're, if you're grateful for what you have, then the universe will give you more. And the more, and we talked about this the other night in the call for my community. And the one guy, he said he was driving his car. He got stopped behind a school bus, and this little girl was walking across the street, and she looked at him and smiled, and he smiled at her, and she was really cute, and it just made his day because it reminded him of his kids. And he said, normally I would have been pissed off because I was stuck behind the school bus and it was delaying me, but like that moment was so beautiful, and it just like changed his whole day. So we were talking about how when you start to practice gratitude, then you start to notice more things to be grateful throughout the day, especially at the end of your day, because you're like, okay, what were my top 3 things of the day? And I used to do this gratitude meditation before bed. I had this app called 10% Happier. Super cool. It has like an annual fee, but it's super cool. I don't use it anymore because I don't need it. But there was this really awesome gratitude meditation. It was 15 minutes. You do it before bed, and you basically scan your whole day from the morning you woke up to the time you went to bed. What were the best parts of your day? And it's just like the simple things, like the look on my kid's face in the morning, the smell of my coffee, before I drank it, or like a moment you had with your partner, or you're driving to work, like you noticed a beautiful landscape, and like all these things. It's like, holy shit, there's like, at first it's hard to think of a couple things, but then over time, there's all these things that you have to be grateful for. And then you start to just notice them throughout the day because we're so focused. There could be 100 negative things in front of you and 10 really good things in front of you, but you're not going to notice the good things. You're going to notice all the negative shit. But the more you practice this stuff, you're going to be focusing more on the positive stuff. And those are the top two things. There's so many things, but gratitude and meditation, those 2 things hand in hand.
Mm.
Practice for a period of time will fucking change your life. I guarantee it.
And is it important to write the gratitude down at the beginning then, so you get
Yeah.
used to doing this? Yeah.
Yeah. Writing it down and getting it out of your head.
Mm.
And that's another thing with journaling. I was always against journaling. Like, I'm not journaling it. That's fucking gay. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that.
Mm.
And then I had some coaches that were like, you need to do that. You need to, even just journaling in general. Then I finally was like, fine, I will try it. But
Mm.
even just journaling the negative shit out of your head is a great way to get it out of your head at the end of the day. That's what I started with. Like, today sucked, this happened, da 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 da. Get all that out of your head so that it's like downloading it out of your head onto the paper. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of your head. But I started doing that, and then I started writing like all the good things about my day. Like, oh, I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful that I met this person because then this happened and this happened. And I was writing like 3 pages. And
Okay.
I don't really do it anymore. I do it more mentally. Sometimes I think I should do it more, but I would highly, highly recommend journaling, even just like a short couple notes
Mm.
in the morning and at nighttime. And lots of people do journaling at the end of your meditation. So like I would always do your meditation, have your little book there, and then when you're done, you can write down, what came up for me in my meditation today. Like, today I had this, or I had this cool feeling, or I saw these like cool like colors, or I could see the energy, or I had this feeling, or I had some body vibration, or I got this message or whatever, so that you remember like what came up. And
Mm.
then, write down a few things you're grateful for. And yeah, I would highly, highly recommend that. And I have like all this stuff in my private community, Stress Free Sobriety, which is completely free to join, by the way, right now. And we have all these like mini lessons for the last 3 weeks. I've been going psycho, making all these little like challenges, the meditation challenge, the gratitude challenge, the self-worth challenge. And I just created like a sober, I forget what I called it, like the sober holiday guide because Christmas is coming up, and
Yeah.
that's always like been a really tough time for me. So I just created like just like little simple modules just to kind of help people out to navigate the holidays. So that's going to be dropping soon too. And what else did I just put in there? Dealing with cravings on, and then I've just been learning about the science behind cravings too. So I just put that up there too. Because learning that our brains are just craving like the dopamine and the wanting to feel safe and feel pleasure. And that's the main reason why you want to drink, is for that feeling of like pleasure and safeness. So when you understand the science behind it, it takes the pressure off a little bit of to why you're having these cravings. And when you understand like it's your brain doing something, you're not just crazy. I think it helps a lot.
How do you get yourself through this period coming up, the festive period, the holidays?
It's hard, man. It's hard. I think it's always a tough time for me, and I've been working on it for the last couple of years too. And I'm bracing myself for this year, and not even just in response to drinking. I think just in general, I have a tough time around
The
the
money as
holidays,
well.
and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I have lots of feelings come up. I think a lot of it is like some inner child work stuff. I don't really know. So I've been kind of going deep to try to figure out what is going on. Obviously it's like going to Christmas things when everyone's drinking kind of bothers me, but there's a lot of factors. Like my sister lives in the US and I never see her, but she always comes home at Christmas, and she's home for like 2 weeks on vacation, and I'm still working. So I'm like busy. So I get like anxiety when she comes home because I want to spend time with her and she wants me to spend time with her, but I'm still like working full time. So I get like stressed out about that too. There's like, I have so many triggers. And then also, these aren't even related to alcohol, but also like being told what to do all the time. Like, oh, we're going to this person's house and we're going to this person's house. And, then I get all mad at my wife and she's like, well, you don't like family things. I'm like, actually, I just don't think I just don't like being told what to do all the time. Like, can I do something I want to do for the
Yeah.
2-week span, or do I just have to be trolled around to do all these things? So I have a lot of things I'm working through with that too. But yeah, it is a tough time of year, I think, for a lot of people, especially once you get sober, because it just brings up all these things and you don't even know what the hell it's bringing up, but you just know it's making you feel uncomfortable. So just doing a lot of deep soul searching and investigating. And every year and every day I learn something new about myself. I've been going really, really deep this year because I'm finally really at a really good place. And I tell my wife, do you want to know what I learned about myself today? And she obviously doesn't really want to hear it because she thinks I'm crazy. But it's just so cool. It's like, okay, I learned something. I'm feeling this because of this and because of this, because when I was a kid, this happened. And that's why I think this, and this triggers me because of this. But then once you put it all together, it's like, hey, I don't need that anymore. I can just let that go. But yeah, I think there's probably a lot of different things for a lot of different people around the holidays. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think it's a hard time for a lot of people, especially when they're either, it's not the best time to try and get sober, but if you're early in your sobriety and then Christmas comes along, because for me it was last year, end of October, I had my last drink, and so obviously the Christmas period was very soon after.
Yeah.
And for me, I was nervous for myself. I don't know if I can do it because, like you say, what am I going to do? Everyone's going to be drunk and they were having a good time and dancing around the Christmas tree, and I'm going to be sat there not myself at all because I'm pissed off because I'm not having a drink and I really want to have a drink. But I was laughing earlier before as well because it sounded exactly like me when I go home to see my family, and I'm getting pulled everywhere, and I feel stressed out because I know these people want to see me and I can't. And then, like you said, they're telling me, oh, they want to see you, we're going to do this today, so you need to come here at this time. It's like, well,
Yeah.
can I just do what I want to fucking do, please?
No.
I don't want to do what you want me to do. I just want to chill out. Like, no, I don't want to go to my auntie's at 3:00. Tell her no, like I don't want to, but you feel like you're obliged to, and it really like gets on my nerves as well. Triggers me, it really does, and then everyone else gets it off me.
Yeah, there's definitely something I'm working through. So,
and I couldn't help but notice your t-shirt, "Alcohol Sucks."
yeah.
Is that your own?
Yeah, you want to know the story behind that?
I would love to.
Okay. So I live in Niagara, which is like wine country here in Ontario. And every harvest, they do this grape and wine parade. to celebrate the harvest of
I
grape
bet
and wine.
you go down a storm, don't you? Yeah.
So
Okay.
this year, my wife was like, "Oh, are we going to take the kids to the grape and wine parade?" And I said, "Why the fuck would I want to go to a parade to celebrate grape and wine when I don't drink?" And, I kind of got triggered a little bit. And I'm just like, fine, if we're going to go to the parade, I'm going to get a t-shirt made that says alcohol sucks to wear to the parade. And she's like, whatever. And this was on a Friday and the parade was the next day. So I left and I'm like, no, fuck it. I'm going to do it. And I called a couple places. I'm like, I want to get a shirt made. They're like, yeah, come on down. It'll take 20 minutes. I was like, seriously, 20 minutes? Fucking sweet. So I went, got the shirt made, and then I wore it to the parade and we walked downtown and I was all excited. But honestly, on the day of, I was a little bit nervous wearing it. And on the back, I have my sober date too.
Okay.
So you can't see it, but it says alcohol free since my sober date. And I was getting all these fucking dirty looks. Everyone's looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy, right? Because everyone's drinking. It's like in the middle of the day, everyone's drinking. All you can smell is fucking weed everywhere because weed's legal in Canada. So everyone's just smoking pot everywhere now. And turns out the parade wasn't really about alcohol. I was wrong. The parade was, my wife was right, if you're listening. The parade was about community. It was about harvest. It was about all this stuff. There was a few floats from wineries, but it wasn't like this big celebration of wine and getting drunk like I thought it was. So I kind of felt bad for overreacting, but I'm glad I got this shirt made. And I just got a hoodie made as well. And I've had a few people reach out to me to ask me where they can buy them on my list, but it's probably not going to happen for a little bit while. But I want to get a store set up and sell like custom shirts that say alcohol sucks and then get custom sober dates on the back. I just don't know how to do that yet. And I have a million other things I want to do before that, but it's definitely on my list. And when I do that and launch the shirts, the people that are in my Stress Free Sobriety community are probably going to get the first dibs on it. So I am, that is in the works. So and when I went to get my sweater made the other day, and I've just been wearing them for my social media too, because I think I'm using it as like a visual hook. And like, I'm the only guy in the world that has alcohol sucks shirt and I should get it patent maybe. But the guy was like, did you pick this font? And I said, yeah, we picked the font. And he said, this is the same font as the Absolute Vodka or whatever. He's like, did you do that on purpose? And I said, no, but we can just pretend I did it on purpose. Or just the only bold font that you had. So yeah, I got my alcohol sucks sweater and hoodie, and my kids are brainwashed to hate alcohol because my daughter's like, you're wearing your alcohol sucks hoodie, eh, Dad? I'm like, yep. I'm going to like having an interview, or if I'm doing like social media, I just wear this all the time. Yeah, so that's the alcohol sucks story. But I'm glad I got the shirts made, and that's the thing. Like I said before, I get an idea. I'm not like, ooh, that would be cool. I'm going to do that one day. I'm like, no, I'm doing it, and I'm fucking doing it today.
20 minutes. I'm down. I'll be there.
So there's this store where I live. I won't say where because I don't want anyone else to know about it. But if you go there, they have a file that says alcohol sucks with the stuff on. You can get it printed on a shirt. But we're going to figure out a way. I'm going to figure out a way to sell them. And I talked to them about that, I can get 20 shirts made at a deal and I could sell them like at a stand or something. But I want to figure out a way to do it like worldwide and set up a store. So that's something we're going to figure out in the future.
You can do it via Instagram, I believe, as well. Yeah. So that could be a nice, but it's definitely a good visual hook as well. Because I noticed it on your content on your Instagram, and so when you were wearing it today, I was like, oh, I recognize that T-shirt. I've got to ask him about it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear it all the time, and I have gotten a few compliments on it too. More dirty looks than compliments, but a few people have come up to me and said like, "Oh, I really like your shirt," and it sparks a conversation, and then they're like, happy for me and give me a hug and all that stuff. So I really like the idea of having the sober date on the back. And my other idea is just to have like an alcohol suck shirt, then on the back, Stress Free Sobriety to promote my community if I'm just selling them on the street, because I can't do like custom printing for people. So that might be another thing too. But that's definitely, I got a lot of plans and a lot of ideas. That's on the list, but it's a little bit closer to the bottom compared to everything else I have going on right now.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing the stress-free sobriety for?
I just started the community 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so it's very new.
Yeah, very new. And like I said, so my private community was called the Inner Workspace with Jason Dobbie. It started as Niagara Mindfulness Meditation Group, and then it morphed into the Inner Workspace, and I moved it from Facebook to Slack, and then Slack was like pissing me off, and the notifications weren't working, and then I was like, keep seeing all these advertisements on Instagram for school, and I thought, okay, I will, maybe I'll move the private community over there, so I set up an account to check it out. It's going to be 3 weeks Monday, and then I checked it out. I joined a community on the Friday, like 3 weeks ago yesterday. And then on the Monday, I was like, okay, I'm going to start building my community. And then on the Tuesday, I decided I was moving my whole business over there. And I had all my stuff on Kajabi, and the Kajabi subscription was like over $2,000 a year for my website. I had my learning portal. I have a 12-week program, Journey Within. All like the modules, everything on there, all my funnels, my email list. I just said, fuck it, and then canceled it and moved everything over. And like I told you, I made that decision based on my intuition, and I'm fucking fired up. So the other day I said, like the first 50 members that join are getting free lifetime premium memberships. And right before I came on here, I think there was 12 spots left. So there's people joining from all over the world, which is incredible. And then once I hit 50 members or so, I don't know, I might change my mind. Then I'm going to go to a 3-tier system, but this is the plan right now. So there's going to be 3 different options to join. There's going to be a standard tier, which is still going to be free. So you can still join for free forever. And that'll give you access to the community. So it's like, it's everything all in one. There's the chat space where everyone can interact, with different topics, and you can post and pin different topics to it, select a different topic, whether you're sharing a win or just a friendly chat or a weekly discussion, or if you're doing one of the challenges in the classroom, you tag that challenge and you have to like post daily about it. So you get full access to the chat, and you get limited access to the classroom materials, they call it. It's called the classroom. That's where I have all my little modules and mini challenges and all that stuff. And I've built like 15 over the past 2 weeks, because I wanted it to be like kind of full. I'm psycho, man. But I've been building all these things for my private community already. Like I made the meditation challenge, I made the gratitude challenge, I had all these other ideas. So I just like, I go psycho, and it's like pretty much up and running, but there's more coming. I just added a new one yesterday. And then I'm going to have my premium plan, which is going to be $25 a month. Once the 50 spots fill, and then I switch to this tier system. So for $25 a month, that gives you full access to the community, full access to all the courses, like all the learning stuff that I have, the challenges, and that's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And then also what we do is monthly community group call. So we did our first one this week, and it's just like a group coaching call. It's kind of informal, where we get together and we share our wins, and we just, support each other and just talk about what's going on. Sometimes we'll have a weekly topic, and everyone will kind of share and support each other. So it's a great way to connect with everybody. It's about an hour and a half long. And as the community grows, we do one a month, but as it grows, starting next year, I'm going to do 2 a month, because I got people all over in different time zones. So I'm going to do one like at 7 p.m. my time and one at 7 a.m. my time, because like there's people all over the world, and which is super cool. And that's only going to be $25 a month, which I think is a pretty good deal, less than $1 a day for all the stuff that you're going to get. And then you're going to get to connect with a whole bunch of other people, and you get support from me as well. And then I'm going to have a VIP tier. I'm telling this is like live now. So whatever I'm saying, I'm going to have to do. I can't change my mind now. The VIP tier is going to be $250 a month. And that's going to have everything from the premium tier, but it's also going to add access to my signature coaching program, The Journey Within. And you're also going to get a monthly one-on-one coaching session with me as well, on top of everything else. So that's kind of the model I'm starting with. And I know, as it grows, those prices are probably going to go up as the community grows. But for right now, I just want to keep it low, just to make it easy for people to access. And also too, man, I wanted to do an offer for everyone that's listening to this show. The first 10 people to join my community, for anyone listening to the show, I want to give away 10 free premium lifetime memberships. to the first 10 people. All you have to do is join the community, and you can just join through the standard free one and send me a message and say, hey, dude, I heard you on the podcast, Cameron's podcast, and I will upgrade your membership to premium and give you lifetime access. Just with all the founding members, they're all getting lifetime access because they're the ones helping me just kind of getting it started. So I wanted to offer that just as like a special offer for all your listeners. And I think I'm going to do 10 memberships. We'll see how it goes. I'm pretty lenient. I might let a few more squeak in. Originally, I was going to do everyone, but I'm like, oh, what if it's like 1,000 people? So I don't want to do everyone that listens. And then also for you, man, I want to offer you a free lifetime premium membership as well. If you want it, you're free to come on. We'd love to have you.
That'd be awesome. I was gonna say I'd message you after and see about this premium guarantee or premium lifetime option. But
time premium, it's $25 a month right now. In the future, I could see it maybe going up to like $45, $50 in the next year or two if everything grows. And also too, like right now, the whole idea is just getting people in. But as it grows and grows to like thousands of people, then you need to put a price tag on it just to keep the people that are serious in. And the people that aren't serious, just a way to kind of filter the people out. But it's, I've been wanting to start a community for a couple of years, ever since I started my meditation group. And I've been so high the last like 3 weeks. I've just been like on this huge high, but it's like everything I've been working towards, it's all finally like feels like it's actually coming together, because I've been trying to like build this community, but nothing has worked. And now it seems like it just clicked and it's like working, and like people are joining. And I've had like tons of people ask me for the link on Instagram, but they haven't joined yet. So I'm like, where are these people? But
yeah, that's the more annoying thing, isn't it? Yeah,
take their time, right? Then I looked the other day and we've had like 126 people look at the about page just in the last 7 days. But I do the same thing too. I'll click on something, it's like, oh, I'm going to do that, but it's like, oh, that's pretty serious. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not going to do it right now while I'm mindlessly scrolling. And yeah, so this is the plan, man. And I just want to help people, and it's like my life purpose and what I'm here to do. And I want to help people as much as possible. And, if I can do that, I don't want to rip people off, but if I could make a little living on it as well, and then my goal is to, quit my day job and do this full time. And with this school community, I see a path forward in the future to that really being possible. So I really see, like, I'm excited about things happening and all the stuff we can do. And, the main thing is just having the community and bringing people together from all over the world. And people joining, and already, and we're just in the short few weeks, like the messages I've gotten from people just saying like, thank you so much. Like, I need this so much right now. Like, that just fills my cup like so much and makes me so happy that like, that's what I'm really doing it for. It's incredible, man. And the community is called Stress Free Sobriety Community on School, SKOOL. They seem to be really pumping up school a lot right now on Instagram. And I've been seeing these ads, and honestly, the ads have been pissing me off so much. That's why I was like, this is stupid. I hate these fucking ads. But I'm like a really strong advocate of school now. It's one of the most amazing, easiest platforms that I've used yet. Everything all in one. You have your classroom, your community, the calendar with all your events in there. Another thing, like, I want to have like more monthly events where we get like guest speakers in and stuff. And, I've connected with lots of coaches all over the world just from doing my podcast too. Like, I know lots of people in different fields that I could get to come in, and there's going to be a lot of really cool things happening. And there's a map feature too, where you can click on the map and you can see where everyone is all over the world, which is really cool to look.
Cool.
Like,
yeah.
We've only got like, I think it was 38 people before I hopped in here today. I feel like it's going to blow up over the weekend because I've had a lot of people ask for the link, but it's pretty cool just seeing the people from all over the world. It's really something special to me. Yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, for anyone listening, if you want to join Stress Free Sobriety Community, the first 10 people to join and send me a message, you'll get a free lifetime premium membership, and for you as well. And yeah, brother, we're changing the world. We're starting a movement. It's not just a community. It's like a movement. As the community grows, and that's the thing with people that get sober, once they like are doing the work, The sober community is so inspiring because everyone just helps each other. And I see it on Threads. Like Threads is an
Threads
amazing
is
platform
crazy about how
because
much love
everyone
you
is
get there.
just, it's, I get more love from Threads than I do from my own family. It's incredible.
Threads is now my family. That's where I belong, in Threads.
So is it 10, the first 10 followers from first 10 listeners who follow you from this episode?
Yeah, the first 10 people
drop your
that
message.
join the community. You can join the standard thing for free and just send me a message and said, hey man, I heard you on the podcast, the Open Mic Unfiltered podcast with Cameron. I was just like, right on. You're upgraded to premium membership for life.
There you
Your
go.
number, whatever. And then the only thing is, like, I might be getting, as this episode airs, I might be getting people like for the next 5 years being like, hey, are those 10 slots filled up yet? So maybe I should let you know when it's filled up. And who knows, maybe I'll extend it to 20. I usually, I'm a pretty nice guy, so we'll see how it goes. And then also for you too, man.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And I think it'd be silly for people not to take you up on that offer, especially if they're getting upgraded for nothing. But you are right. I think we are slowly changing the world. And it sounds mad because that's what I said to people around me when I first started this. I said, I want to change the world. I know it sounds mental, but I'm not saying I'm going to do it myself. But I know that by putting myself out there and making myself vulnerable, I'm going to meet other like-minded people who will have the same objectives or goals that I have. If we can all get together and we can all do our bit, then yeah, we can make the place or the world a much better place to live in. Because at the moment, it's gone a bit to shit, hasn't it? To be honest,
it is. And it's amazing that you said that because I feel the same way. And I remember a point in my life where I was so low. I used to think, how is anything I do going to impact the world? Because you feel so small and you feel like so useless. And what's the point? But one person can change the world. You do one nice act of kindness to some person, and that's going to light their candle, and they're going to carry that forward, and they're going to carry that to 10 more people, and then they're all going to do that to 10 more people. Then they're all going to go home, and that's going to carry forward to their family. And it is possible. The ripple effect that one person can have that you don't even realize is incredible. And the same thing can happen with negativity. The negativity can spread even probably just as much as the positivity, but it's the same thing. Oh, you're an asshole to someone, you're going to piss them off, then they're going to be an asshole, and they're going to go take it out on that person. But it's the same thing with kindness. You go get a coffee at a drive-through window and you're just like, ask the person, how are you today? How's your day going? And they're like, oh, great. Thank you for asking. They just served 1,000 people and not one person gave a shit how their day was going.
Yeah, small things.
Exactly, man. And to me, that's how you change the world. But I used to think that was impossible, but it's the small things that can change the world, the ripple effect. And we can all do it, man. And the world is changing. I feel it. The world is shifting. People are waking up. Some people aren't, and some people aren't meant to wake up in this lifetime. Everyone's at different stages of their evolution, of their consciousness, and whatever you believe. Like, I believe in reincarnation and multiple lifetimes, and we're all on this path of this evolution, and we're all at different stages, and nobody knows what's really true or not, but you can't force anyone to do anything. All you can do is kind of shine your light, and it's up to them to, receive it or to not receive it. And that's one thing I've learned is you can't change anyone that doesn't want to be changed.
Yeah.
And, if anyone, you can help people that want help, but you can't help the people that don't want help. So unfortunately, you just have to let them, everyone needs to find it their own way. It's just like with us, with the meditation, both of our girls told us to practice meditation. We're like, fuck that, I'm not doing meditation. And then now we're turning into like yogis and we're going to be like preaching meditation, but we had to find it for ourselves because we also don't like being told what to do.
No, that's exactly it. Yeah. I'll find it. Don't tell me. Leave me alone. Yeah. It was a simple one, when you're going to do it, you do something and someone says, oh, can you do that? I was going to do it, but now you've told me to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to do it when I'm ready now.
I know. When I was a kid, if my mom told me to do something that I was already going to do, like, make sure you go have a shower. It's like, no, I'm not fucking having a shower now. I was going to. So ever since I was a kid, I was always like that. Like, man.
Yeah.
Let me do my own thing.
Yeah, leave me alone, Christ.
But honestly, you've inspired me today, Jason. Honestly, listening to you and to the passion and enthusiasm you have for what you're doing and for where you're going. So I wish you all the best for it. And before you go, I don't know if you want to say anything to the listeners or where they can find you if they want to find out more about Jason Dobbie.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I already plugged the community a little bit, but you can find me, since I just canceled my website. I don't have that anymore, but you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Threads. Way too many social media things, which I think I might change that at one point too. But I'm just going all in right now, and I'm at jason.dobbie, and they're all the same now. Jason.dobbie, Dobbie. And then on school, our community is called Stress Free Sobriety, and you can find that by going to school.com and just go to the discovery to search communities, and I also have the link to it in all of my social media bios. It goes right to the community. And yeah, that's it, man. Thank you so much for having me on. And I was actually really excited when you reached out to me to ask me, because recently I was just telling my wife, like, I would really love to be on someone's podcast. So I was kind of putting that out into the universe, and then
there you go.
A couple weeks later, then you showed up, and I think we're gonna end up being bros after this, man. I think we got a lot in common.
I think so very much, and I think we'll end up crossing our paths sooner than we think, doing something. I'm sure of it. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Honestly, thank you very much for coming on. You've been an incredible guest, and like I said earlier, I wish you all the best. Honestly, mate, genuinely, I do. So yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Same to you, man.
Cheers.
And we'll be talking soon. Cheers, man.
Take it easy. And there it is, Mr. Jason Dobbie. Thanks again for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And I hope you listening to Jason's story has helped in some way, shape or form. And if you enjoyed the episode or you're enjoying the channel, please remember to subscribe, like, share, comment. It really does help the show grow and reach more people that we could potentially help. And if you want to check out what's going on over at Jason's side and get involved in the Stress Free Sobriety Club, then I'll leave a link in the description. You can also see what I'm getting up to on my other socials, on Instagram and TikTok, at TOMU Podcast, and also get over to the podcast and give that a listen to. It's available on Spotify and Apple. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, be good to yourself.